Isaiah 29 contains one of the most remarkable prophetic echoes in the Bible. It speaks of a book being given to an unlearned man, and it speaks of a marvelous work and a wonder that God would bring forth among the people. From an Islamic perspective, these words point directly to two great signs: the revelation of the Quran to Prophet Muhammad, and the preservation of Pharaoh's body as a warning for later generations. Isaiah 29 verse 12 says, "And the book is delivered to him that is not learned, saying, Read this, I pray thee. And he saith, I am not learned." For Muslims, this is not a vague statement. It strongly mirrors the first revelation of the Quran in the cave of Hira, when the angel Jibril commanded Prophet Muhammad to read, and he replied that he could not read. This is why the verse is so powerful. Prophet Muhammad was known as Al-Nabi al-Ummi, the unlettered prophet. He did not study scripture under rabbis, priests, philosophers, or scribes. Yet through him came the Quran, a book that transformed Arabia, challenged empires, corrected theological corruption, and called humanity back to the pure worship of the one God. This is the first miracle in the passage, a divine book delivered through an unlettered man. Human wisdom expected revelation to come through elite scholars or religious institutions. But God chose Muhammad, an unlettered prophet, so that no one could honestly claim that the Quran was copied, manufactured, or learned from human teachers. Then Isaiah 29 verse 14 declares, "Therefore, behold, I will proceed to do a marvelous work among this people, even a marvelous work and a wonder." This verse points to another divine act, not merely a message, but a visible sign. The phrase, "I will proceed," suggests that God would again perform a mighty wonder, just as he had done in the past. The language naturally recalls the miracle of Moses at the sea. Pharaoh pursued the children of Israel with arrogance and military power. Moses appeared trapped. The sea stood before him, Pharaoh behind him, and destruction seemed certain. But God split the sea, saved the believers, and drowned the tyrant who had defied him. Yet the Quran brings to light a detail that is not clearly disclosed in the biblical account. Pharaoh's body would be preserved. In Surah Yunus, verse 92, Allah declares that Pharaoh's body would be saved so that he would become a sign for those who came after him. This is not a symbolic statement only. It is a physical, historical, and visible sign. This detail also finds an important echo in Psalm 136, verse 15, which states that God overthrew Pharaoh and his host in the Red Sea. While the book of Exodus clearly describes the drowning of Pharaoh's army, chariots, and horsemen, it does not state as explicitly that Pharaoh himself drowned in the same event. Psalm 136, verse 15, however, makes the matter clearer by placing Pharaoh himself together with his forces in the sea. In this way, the Psalms strengthen the understanding that Pharaoh personally met his end in the waters after pursuing Moses and the children of Israel. That Pharaoh was Ramesses II. In this Islamic apologetic reading, the identity of the Pharaoh of Moses is none other than Ramesses II, the powerful Egyptian ruler remembered for his monuments, military campaigns, royal pride, and association with the age of Moses. The discovery and preservation of his mummy in the modern age stand as a stunning confirmation of the Quranic declaration. This is the marvelous work and wonder of Isaiah 29, verse 14. The body of the drowned tyrant, preserved across thousands of years, brought out in the modern age as a silent witness. The man who claimed power, majesty, and divine-like authority became a lifeless sign for the nations. The irony is profound. Pharaoh tried to erase the believers. Instead, his own body was preserved as evidence against him. He pursued Moses to destroy him, but today it is Pharaoh's body that reminds the world of Moses' truth. He stood against revelation, yet his preserved remains now serve the message of revelation. This sign speaks powerfully to the modern world. In an age that often trusts only archaeology, science, museums, and material evidence, Allah has made Pharaoh's body a sign that even the modern eye can see. The mummy of Ramesses II is not merely an ancient corpse. It is a theological witness. Isaiah 29 verse 12 and Isaiah 29 verse 14 therefore form a connected pattern. First, the book is given to the unlettered prophet, the Quran revealed to Muhammad. Then, God brings forth a marvelous sign, the preserved body of Pharaoh, identified as Ramesses II, confirming the Quranic warning in Surah Yunus, verse 92. The message is clear. God's signs do not vanish. They may be hidden for centuries, buried beneath sand, locked inside tombs, or ignored by arrogant nations. But when Allah wills, He brings them back into view. For the end times, this sign carries a warning. Pharaoh represents tyranny, arrogance, denial, and the persecution of God's servants. His preserved body warns every ruler, empire, and civilization that power without submission to God ends in humiliation. The Quran did not merely tell a story about the past. It announced a sign for the future. The mummy of Ramesses II stands as that sign, a marvelous work and a wonder, reminding humanity that the God who saved Moses, revealed the Quran to the unlettered prophet, and preserved Pharaoh's body is the same God who will judge the world at the end of time.